Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's Up Wednesday. I'm Heather, and today it's all about the keto pumpkin. I am a huge fan of this time of year. Up until probably the last couple days, I have been a closet pumpkin freak, and I didn't even realize it. I'm one of those people that when I see that they're bringing out the pumpkin spices and the cinnamon brooms and the really good smelling pine cones, I start to get a little excited and looking. Okay, back. I have terrible cable. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. But what I was saying is that if I don't limit my pumpkin consumption for most of the year, I think it could be a little hazardous to my health. So this last weekend, crappy weather. We had Hurricane Hermine come through Friday, late Thursday. Sorry again, more internet problems. We had the hurricane come through, and we didn't get any weather other than like rain and wind here in Orlando per se, but it was just a crappy weekend and really one for staying indoors. So this weekend, I really worked on some pumpkin recipes going into the next couple months, especially around Halloween and things where sugar monsters can be triggered if we have any sugar-y candy. I went ahead and worked on pumpkin cheesecake bites and keto, paleo, sugar-free, low-carb pumpkin cookies, which are or pumpkin muffins, I'm sorry, which were amazing. I have pumpkin cookies. They're iced pumpkin cookies. I made those last year along with my full-on pumpkin cheesecake. So this was kind of, again, going into that vein. I do have a great recipe for pumpkin soup. That's in my recipe book. But what I do want to say is that pumpkin has got a lot of really great things in it, which is one of the reasons why it's great to use for a treat if you're going to have a treat. So like there's only 30 calories per cup. There's 8 grams of carbs, a little bit of fiber in that. So we've got, some net carbs coming on. And we've got 3 grams of sugar. So it's not sugar-free necessarily, but the sugar is not too much of a concern just because you're not really eating more than a cup or even a cup at a time. It's loaded in vitamin A. So vitamin A, ladies, is great for the skin. It's great for the eyes. It's supposed to help from macular degeneration. So those are some really good bonuses with it. I would say that pumpkin in treats of any kind, still want to keep on, not the regular, but just for special occasions. Just making them the other day, I triggered a flood of people in my house wanting more. So I have to be very cautious of making sure that I make it. Then we have, a little bit of time in between making them again or kind of alternating. They got both. They got the cheesecake bites and the pumpkin muffins just because I was working on both of those. So they were really happy. But I will say that, again, if you're going to have treats, make sure that they're loaded in some good stuff to negate any of the, maybe sugar or carbs, extra carbs that you might be having. I will say that my pumpkin muffins are made with almond flour and flax. So they're really great, not super high in carbs. Lots of fat because I do use coconut oil in those. A quarter cup of coconut oil. You've got 6 eggs. Again, I'm sorry. Welcome back. So yeah, I would just make sure that whatever you're eating, be very aware of the effects it has on your body. If you notice that you're having a pumpkin muffin and you're checking your ketones in the morning like you should be, I do every day. I check regardless. It's a really good way to gauge for me any kind of when I add anything in, or if I have a muffin or two, that I need to be able to see right away what's going on with my body. And my ketone strips are my first line of defense, even above and beyond the scale. The scale can be finicky, but if I know that I'm in ketosis, I'm good. So be very aware. Also be aware of, do you have one, and then do you feel like eating, and do you feel like, going on this tear through the house and binging on anything that you have potentially that could, take you out of ketosis or out of what you're doing. Be aware of those kind of things. But treats, again, if you're having them, have good ones. Have things like pumpkin or, butternut squash. I do sweet potatoes. I do some sweet potato stuff when around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I'm really, again, I don't make it super sweet. I don't put marshmallows in it, but I do make it so that people want to eat it. You just don't want to overindulge because there are quite a few carbs in sweet potatoes, unless you're kind of doing some vacation eating, then that's fine too. So everything pumpkin, head over to the blog. It starts with thefood.com. This week you can get the recipe for the keto muffins, the keto pumpkin muffins, and the pumpkin cheesecake bites. They are really to die for. By the way, both of these recipes, super easy, like talking 5 minutes to whip up the pumpkin cheesecake bites. The other thing too is that I was able to do, with one can, I was able to make the muffins and the cheesecake bites. So if you're planning on maybe just making one of those recipes, store up the pumpkin that you have and put it in a tight BPA free, preferably, or glass container, and you can use it within the next week. If you're looking to use canned pumpkin, I always opt for the organic, and I always look to make sure that the can is BPA free. You want to stay away from any kind of BPA lined cans. You don't want any of that stuff. It'll leach in, and it's an endocrine disruptor and all sorts of bad stuff. And I'll talk to that on another What's Up Wednesday, because I've got a real beef with BPA and all of the problems it's caused for us. So look for those two things. You can roast pumpkin yourself. I have in my recipe book, I do have how to roast pumpkin. Super easy. When I have the time, I do like to do that. I get the little mini sugar pumpkin muffins and do that. It's super easy to do. You can also get pumpkin seeds that way, which is also, I love to have pumpkin seeds, and roasting them myself is preferable over whatever else they've got out there. So those are some of the things that I look for when I am using pumpkin. Hi, Danny. I really hope you're not driving and watching. So another trick, if you know that you're going to be, making some soup, or, soup and muffins, doing something like roasting your own pumpkin, you should be able to get a couple of really good jars out of that. And you can freeze those. If you've got the Bell jars, make sure that if you're freezing any kind of anything, really, you're going to want to make sure that it's in a straight neck bottle or a straight neck jar. That way it doesn't bust open if you happen to put it in hot. The best way to do the pumpkin when you're roasting it is take what you're going to use now and freeze the rest for later. So I'll have more tips like this throughout as we go into the holiday season. I'll be coming out with a lot of my treats, like I said, my treats, because it is that time of year. If you're going to indulge, make good choices. Like, really stay away from the high sugar, high carb stuff, because I promise you, if you're anything like me and you have any of that stuff, Sugar Monster's out, it's all done, and you can call it quits pretty much until January 1st when they're rolling me out of the house and into the stores to buy bigger clothes. So until next Wednesday, stay safe. Head over to the blog. It starts with thefood.com. Check out I've got my recipes there. And if you're interested in the membership, I'm doing a new promotion that I'll be talking about over the next week. For members that join between now and October 31st, there's going to be a nice little bonus. So come back next Wednesday, check it out. I'll be able to tell you all the details. Until next Wednesday, stay safe, and it starts with the food. Thanks.